OT, the podcast. We're here to talk about watches, time, and how to spend it. My name is Andy Green.
Hi, I'm Felix Schultz, coming to you in Technicolor.
Live from Melbourne's western suburbs. I'm in the east meets west tonight, Felix. Bit of news. That's it. We're just having a chat.
Yeah, there's been a bit going on in the last couple of weeks. Some new releases, bit of drama, a bit of goss.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement in our Discord.
Oh, yeah?
It's been a great place to be.
Yeah, actually, you're right. There has been some excitement. A fair bit of excitement about last week's guest, Sylvain Berneron. Which, by the way, this is not a Discord mention. I got the coveted text from my brother saying, great ep this week.
That's when you know it's good, when Morgan goes to the effort of, messaging you out of cycle, which is, birthdays.
He doesn't say it every week. It's not he'll let me know if
it's the barometer, the Morgan rating as to whether or not the Morgrometer.
I hope he's given it 5 stars, but maybe we should get a fake account, put one up there for him. On his
I think we need to get 3 good jobs this week in a row for him to actually, you got to get a hat trick before he'll put that down.
I think now we're probably going to get a passive aggressive. Good job. Could have been better.
Yeah, it's not hard to put the pieces together to work out, Morgan's last name, I guess. So we had Sylvain Berneron on the show. We had the chat. I felt good about it. I really enjoyed talking to him, as expressed to you. And it turns out everyone else did. What a lovely response.
You know what's wild? I was genuinely a little bit shocked by this. So our Discord of a few hundred humble watch lovers has within it 3 allocated watches.
Yeah, that's more than 12% of year one.
Well, year 1 and year 2, I think that covers. So,
no, I'm pretty sure they were both year 1 allocations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all year 1 allocations. So that's 12%.
Mate, we're hitting the right demographic for Sylvain Berneron.
So if you work in the watch industry for a watch brand, there's the stat for you. But really cool. One guy was like, "Yeah, I've bought both. I've had the opportunity to buy both."
Yeah, that's sick.
So he did
legit. I think it'll be a seeing sort of the hype around it. Like, there's a lot of proper people out there getting behind it that like he said in the interview, like Laura Montanari and Shari Roman and those guys.
Gary Getz. Eric Coo's probably got 4. Yeah, but
GG's on the GG.
Yeah, GG tick of approve. I don't think that there's been that much hype until it was revealed. Like, obviously people knew about it because the allocation was sort of sold to that small group. And
I think there is hype. I think
there is, because people have seen it.
No. I think there's different hype. I think there's hype you're not, you and I perhaps are not clued into. It's the indie hype train. Like, I guarantee you, if you spoke to a bloody our good mate Roman, he would have been across this. Like, he would have caught whispers in the Ethernet 6 months ago.
Yeah, I reckon if you've missed out on an allocation, I mean, you still can. I imagine you can probably get year 3. I'd say year 2 probably evaporated the week you showed people in the general public with the embargo what it looked like. But if you can get a year 3 and you haven't, you're going to regret it. Like, it's a very good chance that if you're in a position to afford the watch and you like it, you're going to regret it if you don't, because year 4, forget about it. They're done. You're gone.
This is it's an unfair comparison, and it's not a comparison I think anyone would make. But I helped out, did some writing a little while ago on Roger Smith that WristCheck have for sale. Obviously right there, I'd sort of, chat to them a bit. They've got a for sale thing for $1 million US.
Yeah, fair.
And I remember, chatting, WhatsApping Nihar about it, saying early in my watch days, I was like, man, I'd really love a Roger Smith. These would be great, but $50,000, that's so unachievable. That would be like 2010, I reckon. So that's 13 years.
All that needs to happen is John Mayer needs to go do a Hodinkee video, and it's going to be a 15-year wait.
What was that one that sold out? The I haven't watched the whole Talking Watches, but the
Japanese brand, that they had a 7-year. That was the one I sent you. That had a 96-month wait period, which I was like, at what point? This is just, at least you can do it. And then John Mayer,
not Kurano Tokyo, the other one.
No, it's
Kudoke.
Yeah, no, it starts. It's Q. I can't. I'm gonna mince it. I'm not going to say it. We'll link it up. But yeah, it went from, I remember sitting in 96-month wait period. And it's sort of when people age their children at like, yeah, he's 33 months old or he's 70. Like you just kind of, it's ridiculous, but also, yeah, it's never going to happen. Yeah, it's now closed. Like we don't know what to do. We've closed it.
Yeah, they put a thing up saying, hey, we've stopped it. Which, I mean,
double-edged sword, I guess. They probably, weren't expecting, can't plan for it. So very cool though.
Yeah, Sylvania's cool. A few other things happening. This is not happening this week. It's happening in a month. Actually, in a month. I'm going to be in sunny Dubai for Dubai Watch Week.
Dubai. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm going to be over there experiencing a brand new watch fair for me. I've never been before, so I've been hitting up Nick Kenyon for advice and tips.
Did he have any good tips?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, sadly. It's just the vibes. I think, he's just like, it's vibes. So we'll do some reportage from there, Andy. Maybe we can jump on a Zoom and
on the ground.
Yeah, you'll get some sweaty Felix impressions.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite type of Felix. Speaking of sweaty things, you know what's sweaty?
Tell me, Andy.
A full 90 minutes of soccer. I have finished the Beckham documentary you brought.
How good?
Well, I have an interesting take. So you're spot on with the watches.
Yes, thank you.
All sorts, you went through the eras, Jacob and Co.
What was your favourite?
When he had the gold Yachtmaster with the white dial.
I thought it was a Daytona.
No, well, he would have, but it was the first one he kind of treated himself to was the white dial Yachtmaster yellow gold.
I saw a sub very early on too.
There was a sub pretty early. There was some Cartier action. He was buying Cartier stuff for Victoria.
Yep.
Jacob and Co came in as it did for everyone. But yeah, lots of, and then all the professional retired soccer players wearing Hublots. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, I assume they've all got ambassadorships, and they're still part of teams or whatever and stuff.
Well, yeah, 100. Or some they just get them through their mates. What did I think of it? First 2 episodes, really solid. What an incredible guy. Second 2 episodes, it's very good PR. I think I know less about David Beckham than when I started. I feel like he is
the affair. The affair was very.
He does not say a word out of place, Felix. He is so calculated, and I think the only person that knows who that man is himself. Nothing leaves his mouth.
You can see why Rolex like him.
Yeah, he is pretty much like the perfect artificial human. Like I wonder who he is, because it was all deflection and making it about what the media did. And this is a guy who has made an absolute fortune off being in the public eye and being one of the most famous people on the planet. And he arguably, he's not the best soccer player that they interviewed. And I'd love to see his stats up against the other people incorporated in it.
Yeah, right.
There's a reason that, the American team paid him $250 million over 5 years to come and, semi-retire on the field.
Yeah.
And then to blame the press and sort of make it about the portrayal, it's like, it goes hand in hand.
British press at that era was pretty hectic.
Yeah, of course, like phone tapping and all that. I appreciate that. But he didn't, and then to sort of, the affair thing, like you said, it's our personal life, which it is, right? It's personal. It doesn't need to happen. But I watched him and I was like enamored with how talented he is and the dedication. But I'm more like impressed with how focused he is and how controlled he is. And it's the same thing, right? It's the same skills of being able to perform under pressure and being able to control all of your emotions and every single thing you say. And there's some stories along the way where he was kind of, he's getting heckled or things are happening and he doesn't react. And it didn't matter what people said to him or did to him, or he did not react.
I thought that the guy, Succession guy, the director, he did a very good job in some things, gently painting a picture about his David Beckham's father and about Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson was less gentle. That was,
Yeah.
But the stuff like, if you wanted to see things in certain ways, you could. But if you were, particular aspect you could take other messages out of it. I thought that was very clever.
And look, like you get an understanding of how he got to where he got to and how he became elite and what's involved. And there's no mistaking that. But what was very clear was the mindset and the discipline and the focus and going out when 80,000 people are booing you and to still turn up, and the stuff at training, turning up and just pushing through it. Don't get me wrong, that is an absolute focus.
And also, he's probably got contracts. You know what I mean? And like to have that awareness of like, if I don't show up, that, I'm not going to get paid for whatever it is.
You think about it when he was a kid, he was born into that life, and from 13, it was like he had everyone that was around him focused on making sure he succeeded and did the right thing and said the right thing and turned up to the right thing. And I mean, then I go, he got all this negative attention and press, and that's what they build off. Like, that's why he changed his haircut every other game. That's why he was so loud. That's why he drew so much attention, because he capitalized on it. So that's the thing where I'm kind of like, but that is your business, and you probably made the same amount of money as a brand ambassador doing all this stuff. So you got to take the good with the bad there, but he's nonetheless a very impressive human being. Like, what a crazy amount of focus. Even the way he kind of presented and operates today is just, it's impeccable. Like, he is, you really struggle to fault him, and that's by his design.
Hey, we talked about we could talk about David Beckham all week, but Shooter isn't sponsoring this episode, Andy. What else has been happening in the world of timepieces and general life?
So another recommendation that came via our Discord was
get on the Discord.
The Reptile on Netflix. I think
yes.
Our mate Nick Barnes, recommended it because there was a watch scene in it.
Oh yeah.
So I watched it, and the watch scene, that's a nice moment.
It looked a bit intense for Felix when I saw the trailer or whatever.
Yeah, it does get a little bit stressy. It's a good cast. But it's a very familiar story. I will say that. I think I sort of compared it to, it's sort of like LA Confidential vibes.
Oh, nice.
Less intense. Like, it's an indie version of that. So you don't have a huge amount of, violence or anything like that. It's all implied. But there are a few moments where it gets quite stressful and you're like, oh. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I'd watch it again. I'd recommend it. But just a smidge predictable, if you ask me.
3 out of 5 golden boots from Andy Green. You have been sending me cryptic messages about one of the famous paywalled and enigmatic figures of the watch industry, Miss Tweed.
Yes, Astrid. Came up on my LinkedIn feed this week. There was something around Richemont CEOs and the percentage. It's got the highest kind of percentage of female CEOs in luxury. None were CEOs of watch groups or watch brands.
Hang on. In Richemont or LVMH?
It was Richemont.
Richemont's got one female watch CEO at least.
Global?
Sorry?
Global?
Yeah, Catherine.
Sorry, it might be LVMH, but I've got my Richemont and my LVMH mixed up because we're talking about Richemont in a second. LVMH, not a single one, because they own a bunch of fashion stuff, liquor, jewelry, not a single watch. Obviously, there's 4 or 5 brands, but no one. So that was interesting. But then
they've got 2 Arnaults in the watch division.
A lot of nepotism, not that much gender equality, apparently.
I mean, let's maybe that could change. Who knows? AP's getting a lady CEO in. A lady CEO. Also, hey, fun fact, I did some research on this. So AP got their new CEO, whose name I can't recall, but there was a bit of like online hubbub about her coming from, I think, Procter and Gamble.
Yep.
So like fast moving, beauty and therapeutics and stuff. And they're like, we're going to do this. Bloody Jean-Christophe Babin. Where did he come from before he went into watches?
Out of space.
Procter & Gamble. He's done well with Bulgari.
Yeah, I mean, it's beneficial to hire someone outside of industry. So watch people want to know watch people. But,
watch dudes are idiots.
Yeah.
You heard it first.
The Richemont front. So Miss Tweed, it was interesting. So she did this whole investigation into Farfetch, which is the online platform. All the luxury brands, huge amount, all plug into, and it's a really good platform.
Right. Never used it.
Well, it's luxury stuff, so it's a lot of it's really high end. Good sales every now and then, but they're apparently struggling. And so Miss Tweed hypothesized and put together a bit of report the fact that Richmond is so invested through their luxury group that they're probably going to need to step in if they want to keep it. And so sort of predicted that and did a whole thing on it.
Okay. Hodinkee CEO is ex-Farfetch.
Yeah, it's a fascinating business. I think it's just the model is struggling a bit, and
I think that's across the board. Like it's too like. I think they're maybe waiting for it to mature because Ukes had the similar sort of
exactly, but
corporate shenanigans.
The point Miss Tweedy made was that Miss Tweed, that what made that like Richmond really rely on it through their brands. Like it's the existing network, so it's struggling.
Rely on it for what?
Distribution. So they're all of their fashion houses are on there, and I would say do far more online through that avenue than through their own. Yeah, like I don't think anyone actually buys, direct.
Right.
Because on Farfetch you can bundle it all together and it will ship from different places, but it's sort of it's centralized. It's really good. It's a really good platform. It would do well. I'm sure there are some watches on there, but I'm sure replicating it for watches.
It's hard. Yeah, there's some unique challenges there as well, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, then Miss Tweed Ashford found out that people were screenshotting sort of her paywall content. Found out there was like watch group, WhatsApp groups, screenshotting it, circulating it, and they did another post. It was like, this was months of investigation. It amazes me that luxury people, especially like working in the industry, I've told CEOs that many times, it's €15 for the first month. That's too much money to pay for months and months of my work and my intellectual property, but they'll happily have one person screenshot it and send it around.
Funny you should mention this. I was talking about, I was having a chat with like a watch marketing, former watch marketing person about that, like, monetizing newsletters, sort of that's as an avenue, and that's something that we might be seeing sort of more of. And I was saying, I reckon that'd be a great business model, if you can convince enough watch marketing people or people in PR or whatever to put your subscription on the corporate card. Yeah. That'd be, that'd underwrite your business. It's a legitimate expense for them. She said she would struggle to justify it.
It's crazy.
Which is grim. Anyway, know what's not grim, Andy?
You tell me.
The hottest, goldest watch release of this week, the brand new TAG Heuer Carrera Golden Chronograph. It doesn't have a cool name.
Numbers.
As of time of recording, which is slightly before release, but we're publishing it in a few days' time. We'll all be golden, so to speak. This is the new 39mm tribute to the iconic Carrera, the driver's watch, the 1158 CHN, one of Nicholas Bybeck's top 3 most important Carreras of all time. The watch that was originally sort of made famous because it was sewn up in a marketing deal by Jack Heuer in the 70s, I think, when he signed Ferrari. He became the first sort of non-watch sponsor of Ferrari. He did the deal with Ferrari, that's the thing. And he said on the side, I will give each of your drivers a solid gold watch, but they've got to come to the factory. And that, obviously the drivers popped up, from Italy to Switzerland, picked up a watch and had some photo ops. And it became a famous watch because it was always on podiums.
Yeah.
It became known as a driver's watch. This is, it's not a reissue, it's not a remake, but it's a tribute to it, obviously. 39mm based on the, that sort of glass box Carrera design we've seen this year. What do you think of it, Andy?
I like this watch. This one, I think the museum had sent out a couple, for Nicholas in the museum had sent a couple over. Definitely over the last few years, it's always been in the display case. Whenever TAG Heuer do an event or something that kind of they bring out the heritage pieces. So, they've been priming us and they've been getting us excited for it.
It's also in Barbie.
Yeah.
The historic one, not the new one.
Yeah. I like it. Rush.
I will say, Andy, it's a spendy boy.
Yeah.
31 and change Australian dollars, 1,000, not 31,000, on a black leather strap.
I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, at a bracelet, it'll be 50, and that's not. Terrible.
I mean, yeah, sure. A
Piece of
bracelet,
furniture.
those gold mesh bracelets would be great, but I think the price would just be too sort of rich, I think, for most people's taste.
Maybe, but yeah. What do I think? I like the brush down the kind of vertical stripes on the dial. That sub second hand at 6 o'clock is quite nice. It just kind of sits on it, and then the overall vibes.
It's a cool watch.
Fantastic.
So I spent like 5 seconds with it in Switzerland. It's nice.
All you need.
Yeah.
What's next?
This one popped up on your radar, and I was a little bit surprised that you said, "Oh, let's talk about this."
Why? I love when a former brand ambassador of a enormous conglomerate goes rogue into another.
Well,
one of my favorite things.
This is one of those brands that I think we've mentioned in the past as like, you know, when we talk about GPHG, like they're nominated for GPHG awards, and they're like, "Who is this brand? Why has no one heard of them before?" Yeah. Next minute, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the many high-profile investors in it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, $2 million invested. How much did he put in? Quarter of that? Half of that? Can't have been.
I mean, yeah, and we should say we were talking about the brand ID Genève. They've recently made this announcement about their sort of, I guess it's kind of like a soft launch almost, like if you've got this amount of, you know, new things.
Circular luxury. They're trying to be kind of fully environmentally friendly. So this is
yeah, you go, Andy. Sorry.
I was just going to talk about the watch. So this is the Circular S Sun watch, which is the one that really dabbled. It's got a gold dial. You'll see Leo wearing it in the press pics. It's 4,300 Swiss francs, limited to 300 pieces. But what makes it special, Felix, is that it uses solar steel, which is, you know, pretty close to being zero carbon.
Yeah, they found a forge in Switzerland that is solar powered, and they've grabbed like scrap metal from around the area.
Yep. So it's in southern France, but it's 105 times lower than the industry average as far as like emissions and all that sort of stuff. Which is pretty cool. The watches themselves are, you know, interesting enough. They're a little bit different. They, you know, I mean, the movements aren't crazy.
No. The movements are kind of cool, Andy.
Yeah.
So they're ETA movements. They're like 2824s, but they're using refurbished.
Oh, that's right. Unsold.
Yeah.
Movements.
Yeah. So even that's like, you know, that's a sort of often a missed part of it. And I think that's like, you know, if you're Panerai or whatever, you can make a movement from scratch out of sustainable things, but that's not.
That's where they went.
Yeah.
Recycled Superluminova.
Sure.
Recycled buckles and clasps for the straps. They've got for the hardware on the straps themselves, they've got a vegetable textile or a tree textile that's made from green waste. The case is obviously steel. The crystal is 70% recycled and made in France. The dial is made not recycled of anything, but that's fine. I think the rest of it is pretty good. But it's pretty cool. Like I like this initiative quite a lot. That I could almost like the watch design a little bit more than I do and get around. Like I could get around this.
I fully understand. Like it's kind of a bit. If this was let's say a Tudor watch, I'm saying that just because the logo looks a little bit familiar, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of ugly. Whereas I'm like, yeah, I get it over the line. I 100% agree. Like there's some weird, funky stuff going on with it, but good, weird, funky.
Yeah, like it's good. It's certified B Corp, which it's probably the only watch.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's probably the only watch company I know of that is.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, check it out. Check Leo out. I wonder if he'll do any interviews or quotes. The man does not. I can't think of him saying anything out of the movie.
Well, he's very, very into the environment, obviously, which I think is why he got behind it. And one of the other investors is apparently a very sort of very rich, high-profile pro-sustainability guy. I know that he's probably pro-sustainability after he made a few $1 billion.
So apparently the founder, or one of the co-founders, like when he started the company, he was like, we are going to collaborate with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like that was one of the goals. Within the first 3 years, we're going to do that.
And he's done it.
He's done it.
Well done, ID Genève. Moving right along, Andy, to something that I want to talk about but have not yet been able to experience thanks to my injury.
Yep.
New Artem strap.
Love
The
it.
Hydro Flex.
How exciting.
Have you received an Artem package containing a Hydro Flex?
No, I haven't. I haven't received it yet. It's not with me. It's not. It's not
at one of your other holding facilities.
At my holding facility, I haven't had a chance to go collect it, but I'm very excited. I got the Hydroflex khaki green.
Me too. Hey, I'm just gonna hang on a second. I'm just gonna roll over here, and oh no, there's too many steps involved. I've whacked it on my Helios. It's a great looking strap. So this is a mix of a hybrid strap of FKM rubber with the sailcloth top. So it's it's all the benefits of a rubber strap with a little bit of that sailcloth.
Stiff than the sailcloth?
Sorry?
Is it less stiff?
Soft boy.
Floppy?
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
And it's got that nice rear sort of ergonomics that will not make it super sweaty on the wrist, like the ridges and bumps and stuff.
I mean, amazing. So there's 3 options. There's a grey, a khaki, and a blue. 4?
There's black. I just couldn't fit it in the screenshot, Andy. You'll see the note above it says green, blue, black, grey, discuss.
Discuss, yeah. Oh, I thought that said Discord. It's been years, guys, and I don't know why we don't have a pink. Even if they should just make me one and you one.
Sure. I mean, you know what they're like with their old fastidiousness and paying attention to the market. Turns out hot pink straps won't sell, Andy. Who knew?
Artemstraps.com. There's not an ad, funnily enough, but love Artem straps. Go get one for yourself.
$218. Can I also just say, Andy, here's an Artem strap I have handy. This is one of their sort of loopless in the sort of the beigey color.
Yeah.
I reckon you could get a hot pink Sharpie on that.
Would you know what? The beige or maybe the grey would look great on. Dun, dun, dun. One of the new Nomos Glasutec Club Sport 39s. Tabac Smoke Ember, $3,300. New kind of beige core vibes coming out of Nomos.
I believe autumnal colorways for the Northern Hemisphere is the
autumnal
vibe.
I think it's beige.
How nice a word is it to say autumnal?
Give me 3 minutes to pair each one of these up with your favourite New Balance.
I mean, I went grey, not New Balance, so it's going with all of them.
Oh, these are nice. We've
nice.
Club Sports.
What was that, sorry?
Both got Club Sports, but if this brown one, if this tobacco was out, maybe I would have... maybe the future would be different.
Yeah, no, they're hot. I mean, but that's always the thing with watches, isn't it? You always go, maybe I'll get this one. But 39 mil, great size. Can attest this will be a banger of a watch. I quite like, I'm going to say, I'm not 100% sure which colour's which, but I think the Ember is probably the middle sort of coppery tone. Smoke is grey. Tobacco is a darker brown.
Tobacco. Speaking of colourful dials.
Yes, mate.
It happened, Felix. You didn't even register what took place when it took place, but your dream of a 4-way collaboration.
Love a 4-way collaboration.
Happened. It happened. So you've got, get your fingers out. 1, Tag Heuer. 2, Bamford. 3, Rolling Blazers. 4, Eric Wind. What did you say?
So we have brand.
Boom.
Fashion label.
Boom.
Vintage expert.
Boom.
And
customized house.
Bamford.
Yep.
What do you think?
You know what?
What?
I'm a fan. I like it. I like the colors are perfect. I don't find something a little bit iffy on the Rolling Blazers on the sort of dial at 6. I think it's
one of the best Rolling Blazers integration I've seen yet.
To be honest, I didn't love the branding on the Seiko because I think the Seiko dial is a bit busier. This is, despite having an enormous amount of color, very clean. Like it is, it's just a beautiful dial. So I'm not offended by it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. My initial reaction when I saw it on Instagram was like, boom, add to stories. I really liked it. It's cool. It's like, neon, but not too in your face. However, someone has pointed out, again on our Discord, you should join it,
Mm.
$9,000 US is a lot for a novelty watch.
It's a fair bit. Where does it stack up?
And then I think their follow-up was $3K. Yeah, I'd buy it any day.
Where does it stack up as far as a normal Carrera goes these days?
Probably a bit more. So this is the older style Carrera. This is not the new glass box.
You reckon it's a bit of a new old?
No, I think this is staying in the collection, like this style. Like I know they've released new watches this year in that style of. Carrera. It's a bit more sporty. It's a bit more modern, less vintage. I suspect, again, this is crystal. I suspect Tag Heuer, weren't developing. Wouldn't have let them develop their new watch with this sort of third parties like that yet.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So to put it in perspective, it's pretty similar to the Skipper as far as everything. Yes. So it's the same case movement. Got a bracelet. The Skipper.
No. Oh, hang on. Which Skipper?
It's the re-release. Is it the same?
This is not the same as the Skipper.
Oh,
this is a different.
Gotcha.
No, so that's the new, like the one, that gold one we spoke about. That's that new real domey one. This is like much more like a Carrera from a few years ago. Like it's
okay. Well, put it this way: the Skipper's 10 grand Australian on a strap.
This is what 9K US is what 13K.
Yeah, probably 14 with the bracelet. Yeah, so it's up there. There's definitely a premium.
This is what more. There's 1,000 for Rogue Blazers. 1,000.
Yeah, honestly,
1,000 Bamford.
You've got to split it up.
Yeah, but, I don't know. But I think it's cool.
Thing has always cost more as well. Like the Bamford thing, it's always, if it was a Heuer Monaco, Tag Heuer Monaco, it's always a premium to get it done via Bamford. So, that's fair enough. Like if he's doing it, not Tag Heuer, then yeah, it's going to cost more, and it's nice. It's a nice reminder of how small the watch industry is. Well, all former guests of OT the podcast.
Yeah.
So
in several cases, several times.
Anyway, Felix, the last topic that we should discuss is something we've been dancing between the raindrops about for the last few weeks.
Yeah, have we talked about it? Have we sort of teased that it's happened? Like I can't remember.
Like I said,
my on microphone and off microphone lives are essentially the same thing now.
Yeah, well, only watch, bit of drama we alluded to. Probably talked about it. Probably talked about it with Asher a bit. What's been happening?
No. Asher would be
never.
He would not comment publicly about something like this unless he's too much of a consummate professional to be sucked into the goss.
Unbiased. What's been happening? You've been telling me that a couple of brands have pulled out.
Allegedly, rumored. Cannot confirm.
Okay, we won't name.
Yeah, so I think that's happening. So there's a whole lot that's been going on. It sort of started when Santa Laura, renowned Instagram watch collector, and Periscope, renowned Instagram watch botherer, started raising questions about Only Watch and if it was as charitable as it was purported. And there's some terrible visuals from an Only Watch point of view of founder Luke Pedovano with a big old cigar and a nice jacket going, which, from a PR point of view doesn't look great. There's a whole bunch of internet sleuths digging into the finer details of Monaco charitable / tax law.
Yeah.
And there's a range of associated organizations like, the sort of
the main beneficiary of
it's a research thing.
Yeah, which the guy Pat owns.
Yeah. Yeah. And then his sister or his wife or someone's on the board of it. It could be entirely innocent because often people are on boards and often these things are sort of, tax institutions. It could also be dodge. I don't know. But if it's being cast in a negative light at the moment, and I think this sort of came up. I don't like the sort of the bad faith thing of Periscope said, "Oh, I know someone that had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I emailed them and they wouldn't help me." They're a research institute servicing a particular area. That's not their job.
It's sort of the power of, words, and there's a responsibility there when you have that big audience. And I don't know. Apparently, they released a bunch of info, and that appeased SJX at least.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, this is the thing. I think reading between the lines, they didn't communicate clearly, quickly. They didn't.
Yeah.
Perhaps because they don't have their, hypothetical ducks in a row and needed to like work out the thing, but it doesn't look good. And there's Deb Toon publicly commented saying we're not happy on Instagram.
Cool.
And now there's sort of rumors of major brands backing out. There's some other stuff that I can go into. There's a few other things. Again, Chris Hall did an excellent write-up in his newsletter. You should subscribe to it. There are changes in law there. So now like they have to start sort of having audited accounts submitted regularly for this sort of charitable structure.Maybe, I don't know. And then there's people sort of bringing up the fact that only watches appear on the secondary market incredibly rarely, with the general understanding being that brands buy them themselves.
Yeah. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But also, like you said, no one asked. No one cared. No one cared. Well, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, why haven't you been doing that? And they look bad because they haven't. But also it's this research institute. Yeah, $100 million is a lot of money, but over what period of time? And I think they said half has been invested in that research and the other half was on reserves. So
also, this is another thing. So it's been around for like 10 years. The last 3 editions were the ones that seriously kicked it up. So it sort of hockey pucked in returns, along with everyone's interest. So this is an entirely reasonable issue of scale. Like, they're essentially a 3-person charity that was founded out of 2 personal passions. I mean, the cause and watches. Guy's got connections. He's not necessarily a business runner. He's an events manager that's good at networking. Now he's in charge of a couple of $100 million business.
I mean, to be honest, this might be the first time they were asked.
Yep. Well, I mean, I would like to think that, if Tudor and Patek Philippe and brands of that caliber are...
It's not crazy to think they haven't. It's not, or maybe they have, but why would Tudor wouldn't go and release it? Patek wouldn't. But this might be the first time they've publicly been asked, and they're going, "Oh, okay, sure, give us a week to prepare something."
It's also fascinating seeing so much the lack of coverage in some ways. One, because as it is complex, and like I'm really hesitant to talk about it like in writing or anything because I don't know. Like I'm not. I know about watches, sure. I can talk about the watches, but if you're asking me the particularities of charity law in another country,
I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that this is the first time they've been asked, and they've gone, "Yeah, give us a week, we'll do it." And it's sort of like, oh, and it looks bad.
They've come up with audited accounts, like which is something that they've had to start doing anyway under law.
Yeah, the law's changed recently, so they've had to. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a bit of a tough one.
I'm based on the trolling nature of some people on Instagram. I think there's people poking.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there's probably a bit of insincerity, and maybe Luke Pedovano is paying himself a little bit too much of a salary that for,
every charity does. Every charity does. So
yeah, 100%. As people that have both worked for nonprofit organizations, are you surprised?
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of charity, if you want to help OT the podcast, thank you, Felix. If you want to help OT the podcast, of course, 5-star reviews, spreading the word. If you are listening and you want to give us money, please do. We can give you sponsorship.
Or just, cash.
Yeah, but of course, spreading the word, joining our Discord, being positive. You can follow us on Instagram, OT.podcast, and email us, OTthepodcast. And if you see us in the street, give us a wave and say good day.
Yeah, nice. Andy, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your hard work. I'd like to thank the Academy, and we'll see you next week, I guess.
Catch you then.
Maybe the week after. Who knows?
See how we go.